My name is Eric Juergens. I'm from Maquoketa, Iowa. I was the 11th person to win 4 state titles in a row. I think I started in 3rd grade. We brought home a couple slips of paper to our parents, and it was a 4 Mondays in a row thing. And we tried it out those 4 Mondays and kind of got hooked and got our butts kicked for a while. They didn't have a youth program really other than that 4 Mondays a week. And that was 4 Mondays out of the entire year. A couple of the dads got together, and there was a couple sets of brothers, not just me and my brother. And they got permission from the high school coach to use the wrestling room. And we started with 8 kids, and by the end of the year, there's 24 kids in there wrestling, where we could, practice 2 or 3 times a week. And I did that, I think, pretty much the whole way through up until the end of my high school career. I remember walking into the Veterans Auditorium that first morning before the tournament even started, looking around and being like, man, I wonder what it would be like to win, and then I remember when we finally did win, there was a huge Maquoketa following, and literally I saw them erupt when the match got over, which obviously got my heart racing and stuff, and it was a great feeling, I didn't even know I was undefeated as a freshman until we were reading in the paper. They had the welcoming back party, and it was kind of calming down. People had started to leave, and I was sitting down with the coach as we were picking stuff up, and somebody had brought the paper, and I was reading about it, and it made a big deal at the very end of it about a possible undefeated 4-time state champ, 1 down, blah blah. And I was looking at it, and I actually had to turn and ask my coach. I was like, I didn't lose a match this year, huh? And he's like, no, and it's weird because he never brought it up or anything like that, and maybe he just didn't ever want to alert me to the pressure, that kind of stuff. But I think that was probably one thing that I was lucky with. It's just no one made that a big deal right away. I don't even think I started to feel the pressure of that stuff until probably a senior, and then I started hearing about it all the time. I still love wrestling to this day. I like getting on the mat with the guys in the room, and I like the challenge of it. I like the feeling of a hard-fought battle and how you feel after that's over. I didn't go into college and dominate right off the bat, I'll tell you that. I very quickly found out that being strong for my size wasn't a big deal all of a sudden in college. Every guy I wrestled was strong for their size. And I found out right away that knowing positioning and controlling the ties and controlling the position of a match dictated the entire outcome. It was one thing to wrestle a bunch of kids who probably weren't as athletically strong as me, or weren't as athletically quick, or weren't as well trained at the time. All of a sudden I was wrestling kids that were every bit as me. If anything, they were more athletically talented than I was. And I found it right away, you had to learn how to wrestle. And that was something I thought I had an idea about, and I found out right away I didn't. First year, oh my God, it was a long year. And by the end of the season, the end of my freshman season, I was competing again with the guys in the room. But for about 3 months, I felt like it was, I always tell my guys, it was 3 months of darkness. You go in there, and I remember hoping the coach would blow the whistle so I could get up off the dang mat. You get taken down, just rode the whole practice and just can't get out. You feel miserable. And you learned right away, either change and adapt to what wrestling is, or you weren't gonna survive. And I see it with my guys nowadays, and I try to pass on what I feel I learned from my coaches. My name is Eric Juergens. I was the 11th 4-time state champion.